What's up, guys? It's Bunny. I'm back again for a whole new video. And here is Flash. I don't know what he's doing, but he gnawing at himself. I actually got to take him to the vet, figure out what's going on with him and whatnot. But yeah, that's his new thing now. Scratching and gnawing at himself. That's what he does. So this video is pretty much about stuff that I did. That it was like a test, right? So I texted the person that I used to be with. And I don't know if they thought that I was referring to paying for the storage unit, which I'm getting around to working on it. Other things came up, so I'm going to get to it when I get to it. But I also can't do anything if I put money in that account that I told them I was going to put in and they don't get back to me or they don't use the money or whatever the case is. I don't know. So anyway, long story short, right? So they feel or felt some type of way about feeling disrespected in the relationship. Now, there was no cheating involved, at least on my end of things. I don't know about on their end of things. But pretty much when I was in the relationship, I got privy to the image that I felt like they viewed me as. I didn't feel like they ever really viewed me as highly. I never really ever felt like they viewed me as someone that they could see a future with. I kind of felt like after a certain point in time in the relationship that I always felt like I was just like an option, like convenience. Like it was beneficial to them in some way to have me around. And not on some, like, I could see a future with you, even though we have our issues, we could work it out. I never really felt that way. So what I started doing was, because I felt like for a while they showed signs that like they felt like they didn't trust me or whatever. And I don't know if that was like their way of like showing that they were doing something when they used to point out certain things. But I started picking up on those things, right? So what I did as like psychological warfare, like to fuck with their head, what I did was all the things that I had already thought they assumed I was doing or wasn't doing or whatever, I kind of did certain things to initiate that in their head. Like, so there's guys that I know that like maybe I don't talk to like that, but like I know of them, and like we might have been cool at one point, or even we might have even have been friends. Hold on one time. Or we might have been cool at one point or whatever. So I started, communicating with guys that I used to know like back in the day, or I used to give out my number to kind of like fuck with his head, right? To have him think that I was planning on doing something, but I really wasn't, right? And I would like do little things that would like indicate either you would suspect the person was cheating or think they were about to cheat based on how they were moving, or treat you like to have you think that you were an option, right? And it was all a test, right? Because I wanted to see what they were going to do with those things happening, other than just try to have a conversation, right? Were they going to change certain actions that they were doing that was bothering me and be like, hey, how did we get to this point? Like, why are you doing these things? Like, what's going on? Like, is this something I'm doing? And really like sit down and have that conversation? Or were they going to like run and tell their mother and gossip to their friends, and then their friends put stuff in their head and be like, hey, XYZ, this is what I think, and then, kind of run with it and then, slander my name, right? So, I went along with it, kept doing things, and then, the real icing on the cake was, when my birthday came around and they didn't really plan anything, and they kind of just made it seem like me as a person didn't matter. So I just was like, you know what? I got tickets to this football game. I'm going to go and I'm going to invite a friend. I was trying to invite a female friend, but it didn't work out that way. So I invited a guy friend, you know, whatever, right? And I did that. So I did all those things because I knew he was gonna snitch and run to his mother so he could play the victim. So he could be like, oh, I'm such a good guy. I don't do anything. I don't know why she did this. She's the one that disrespected me. So now she's upset why I'm moving like this. And it was all like psychological. I was just fucking with his head to see if he was gonna like step up and really like show me, like, no, you matter to me. You are everything to me. And the only thing I got out of it was that he had his mother speak for him. He didn't speak for himself. And he essentially went running to his mother about the issue. So I was like, you know, so he essentially at some point brought that up about how he felt disrespected by the relationship, and the relationship turned out the way that it did because of my doing. But what he doesn't know is that if he was trying to play a game of manipulation, I was manipulating his mind the whole time to have him essentially think he wasn't good enough, to second guess everything he did or didn't do or whatever. And it was really to kind of get him to see, like, hey, like, you're moving in a way that, like, I'm not really fucking with, without trying to turn something into an argument, right? Because when we had arguments, it got real ugly real fast a lot of times. So I was just like, you know what? I have to find another method to bring up issues that bother me. So I was like, you know what? Since you already don't, you're already showing signs that you don't trust me, right? You know what I'm saying? You already act like you don't view me very highly. You think I'm naive. You think I'm stupid. You think I don't know anything. So you know what? Let me fuck with your head. Have you thinking that I am doing things, but I wasn't. I wasn't doing a goddamn thing. I was setting it up to look like those things. And yes, there were certain things that I had to do that kind of looked sketchy and fucked up in the relationship either way. But I did those things to kind of fuck with his head. To kind of see, like, would that make him go, yo, like, how did we get here? Or would he just keep moving the same way he was already moving and essentially, like, keep doing the same thing he was already doing? So he pretty much did the same thing he was already doing. And he kind of was like, he kind of did things like in a way that was like questionable to me. So I feel like he kind of like did things the way that he did things because he wanted to do things the way he wanted to do them, because he didn't really care about my opinion. Because one, when it came to like a job or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it was always an excuse. It was always something. You know what I'm saying? And then even when I like made a suggestion about maybe get into, security or whatever and all that, he never really asked about it. He never made the initiative. And this was before we had moved out of our apartment. So I'm one of those type of people. Like, I don't mind helping someone. I don't mind guiding them in the right direction. But I also started picking up on certain cues. He didn't take my word very highly, because there was things that I would say to him and then he'd have like selective memory, and then he would like hear it from a friend and then he'd be like, oh yeah, that's such a great idea, and then he'd run with it. Or he'd hear it from somebody else and he'd run with it. So I stopped giving him suggestions and I stopped trying to help him, and I just let him get advice from other people and let him move how he was going to move, because he was who he was. I was like, you know what? You can't lead a horse to water and make them drink it if they don't want to drink the water. So I was just like, I got to the point where I started telling him, like, look, you know what? Don't ask me for advice. Don't ask me for my help. You're going to fall on your face. I'm going to watch you fall on your face. And then I'm going to laugh about you falling on your face because you didn't want to listen to me to begin with. Because I can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped, especially if you don't want to be helped by me when I'm genuinely just trying to help you. So that's the point that I got to. And he felt some type of way that I said that. And it's like, you got to look at it from my perspective too. Like, just like if he had gave me advice and he felt like his advice was good and I was being stubborn and I chose not to listen, you're going to feel some type of way as a person. You're going to be like, well, why am I going to keep giving this person advice? Why am I going to keep trying to help them if they don't want to help themselves? That's kind of where I got to. So all of this was like essentially a test to see how much he would actually fight to have me in his life and show me. And that doesn't necessarily mean like him having his dream job and being able to help me move out of my mother's house and all that. All that got misunderstood along the lines. But it wasn't even just that. It was just to make me feel like reassured that we still had a future or future plans together. And I just felt like I was just an option that was just there, that he was just entertaining for the time because I was like convenient and offered him certain services. And when he got tired of dealing with whatever little bit I did bring to the table or didn't bring to the table, he kind of just moved certain ways that he knew would make me go off the edge. And, I fell for the trap. I'm not gonna lie, I fell for the trap. But, this is all psychological warfare. Because I was testing him to see if he was like husband material, to see how much he was willing to fight. And then, I kind of pushed the envelope. I did call his mother a bitch. I did push it a little bit. So I kind of like really pushed the envelope. But it was all like psychological to kind of just see like how the reactions were going to happen. Meaning, so granted, yes, I kind of like set it up where we had an argument to lead to like a potential breakup. But I set it up that way, right? In a sense of like, yes, I was frustrated, but I set it up that way to see how he was going to react when I repeatedly kept questioning him about the same thing, because I was confused on how he came up with his plan and how his plan included me in the process. And I don't feel like whatever plan he came up with was a genuine plan. And I feel like it was just something he made up to see how long I was going to tolerate the plan. Like on some like, oh, I'm going to just tell her something, shut her up. She's going to go with it. And if she doesn't go with it, once she starts getting out of pocket, then I'm just going to exit stage left. So pretty much like that's kind of what it was. And he got all bent out of shape, right? And then he was like, crying and causing a scene and carrying on. But I kind of felt like, you know what I'm saying? Like if this is how you genuinely felt, to be honest, like granted, I know it got thrown in my face that I wasn't making an effort to go down there. But once again, like in my prior video, I mentioned what purpose would have served of me going down there if I wasn't in the right headspace on my own, trying to get myself right, going down there with someone who's claiming that they were depressed or whatever they got going on, that maybe I might have been aware of, different actions of how they were moving. But if anything else outside of what I thought was wrong was going on, I was not aware of that. So, but either way, if I'm not in the right headspace for myself, how can I help someone else, like to pick them up to be their support system? That's where I was kind of confused at with that whole situation. It was all like twisted and convoluted. Like it was like pretty much it was like his family was saying like, bitch, fuck how what you got going on. Like, we don't give a fuck if you depressed or you got whatever going on, like money, whatever. That's your problem, bitch. Like, forget about the whole like trying to move out the parents' house, but like I'm just talking about in general, like just the general of the how I was feeling and what I had going on with whatever led me to that point on my own. And it almost felt like now that now that I had got to the point where I was expressing it, and maybe I didn't find the most appropriate way to express it, but this was like the first time in my life that I had actually been, I guess you could say, like, not been depressed, but like this is the first time in my life where I was depressed. And I genuinely told someone like, hey, I'm depressed, instead of like faking a smile. And I was actually really proud of myself because I had, you know, I had finally, like, instead of just like moping around and hoping someone would just see me moping around, which that was another thing that was like a slap in the face too. Like, was the simple fact that you want me to come support your son with whatever he going through, but yet he openly said to me, like on the phone, like in a conversation that we had, that he literally knew something, like he could see that I was like going back, reverting back to old behavior that he didn't like to see, and he was essentially watching it, and then he was essentially watching me like drink my life away and watching it. And you want me to support someone who can quote unquote say they love someone and watch them not only be depressed, but watch them drink their life away right before their eyes. And you want me to respect and honor a man that can't even respect and honor me as a human being, seeing me go through a dark place in my life and watching me and telling me, yeah, I was watching it, and maybe I should have did this. And like there was no like initiative, there was no like accountability to like, yeah, damn, that was fucked up, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that was what my issue was with it. And hence why I don't feel bad that I did what I did. Like, that I did those things to fuck with his head so he could have something to talk about. So he could be like, yeah, this bitch did me dirty. This bitch did this bitch did that. But while he was playing checkers, I was playing chess, and I got the fucking chess mate because you did exactly what I thought you were going to do, and I knew you were going to fail the test. Because I got to make sure that just like a man has to make sure a woman is wife material, I have to make sure that you are husband material if I choose to marry you or if you choose to marry me. So it goes both ways. So you failed the test. Maybe that was a fucked up test. But you know what? I got to do these things because people out here are fucked up. People take my kindness for weakness. And you know what? I'm at the point in my life where I'm just like just tired of being nice to people and then getting the short end of the stick. Back up, homie. Back up, homie. Back up, homie. So that was my thing. That was my little secret to all of this. All of this was planned out. So while he was planning one step ahead, I planned like 10 or 20 steps ahead. So everything that happened, there was like a method to the madness, and there was a reason why certain things happened the way that they did. Because like I said, it was all a test. It was all to see, like, to kind of try to see if I could prove myself wrong. But he took what was happening, and then he kind of just like moped around and didn't say anything and stayed quiet and never came to me in a way like, yo, what the fuck is good with you? Which is what with the first time a situation had happened, that's what I was hoping he was going to do. But he never really, he said something, but he never really said anything that really made me feel like, because he always indicated that things bothered him, but it never really came across that way to me. So I was just like, oh, I gotta push the envelope. I really gotta fuck with his head. You know, and see what he does with it. Make him think that I'm doing something since he already feels that way about me anyway. Because I can pick up when someone doesn't view me very highly or thinks less of me in some type of way without them actually saying it. So I kind of give them the same energy that I feel that they're giving to me based on how they view me. So that's just kind of how I am. So if you give me fucked up energy, I'm gonna give you fucked up energy back, but just in a different way. I'm not gonna put my hands on you. I'm not gonna do none of that. None of that, because that just takes stuff to a whole nother level that you don't even want to go down. But yeah, that was that was my test. I mean, it was a fucked up test. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's other ways you could test if a man is husband material. But I just wanted to see if he would genuinely fight and stand up for the relationship before it had got to the point that it had got to. But every time I kept giving him the benefit of the doubt, 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 time and time again, I kept getting proven wrong. And it kind of just sucks. Like, you know, you go to bat for somebody and then you give them the benefit of the doubt, and then you do all of that and you still find out that it doesn't even matter because the person shows you who they are and they show you what you mean to them by their actions. And this whole experience has shown me that, yeah, he was saying he loved me, but did he really love me? Because his actions, maybe in the beginning with like the love bombing and whatever, he might have shown that he loved me, but his actions over time, like, kind of just, it was like, I guess at the time, because I'm a very, I get very invested in relationships that I get in. I guess for me, I thought like, okay, maybe he does love me. Maybe this is different than my last relationship. But I, as time went on, not only through the relationship, but just having time to myself to really like reflect and think on things, there was a lot of actions that he didn't show that I should have paid attention to, and hence why I did what I did too with the whole not going down there, because I felt like me going down there was catering to what he wanted, and when I stopped catering to what he wanted, he got mad. Hence why he threw it in my face later, after the fact, and why he started throwing stuff in my face about the job in Atlantic City that there was no guarantee I was gonna get, but he threw all that in my face. Did not know about that until we had that really in-depth conversation that essentially the next day led to a breakup. But um you know what I'm saying? It's just like little things like that. It's like he was like really like, he calls me petty, but he was like really petty with how he did things. He would like find information out, or he would do things without telling me, and then I would find out after the fact. And then when I would bring it up to him, I'm being petty or I'm doing too much or whatever, whatever. Like, prime example, like with the Easy Pass situation. Like, I told him because my mother had got involved, which I didn't know Easy Pass had went to collections. And almost, the Easy Pass apparently went to collections and was almost like 1,500, right? Just off of the pass that I was using from him. But the only reason why I even found out that the Easy Pass didn't have money, or that he couldn't log into the account, or whatever he had going on, was not until I started questioning him over the summer about it. But he had never told me prior. I had mentioned it to him when I noticed that the Easy Pass was saying like a certain thing when I went through that indicated there was no money in the account. But he had never said uh, what was going on. The only thing that he had mentioned was that he was going to put money on it and he was going to take care of it. Hence why I did everything that I did, which, yeah, eventually it led to a breakup and it led to all this chaoticness and all that. But um, then when I brought up to him um, about, like, don't you think because a third party got involved with your financial issues that you did not, bring to my attention, don't you think that you should pay that back? And he kind of indicated that because we had things together financially in the relationship that he took care of, and there were certain things that I fell through on that was on me. But he also never came to me and asked me when things went to collections if he needed money, if he needed help with things. He was just trying to do everything on his own. I don't know. But that's beside the point. But here's the thing. When I said, don't you think you should pay her back? Like, respectfully, as a man, since you're talking about your pride was hurt and you got all this integrity and XYZ and you supposed to be a good man and whatever. You know what I'm saying? He tried to make it seem like, oh, that's petty. I never asked you for money back in the relationship. Oh, remember that time I helped you pay for school? I never asked for that. That's two different things. Now, you're talking about you gave me an Easy Pass. You never indicated that you had issues putting money on the Easy Pass, let alone you never indicated that you couldn't log into the account. So you never even gave me the opportunity to either help you put money on the account or just tell me when you knew you couldn't put money on the account, just tell me, hey, don't use the pass for a while. Pay cash or get your own Easy Pass or whatever. By the time I found out, the Easy Pass had racked up so much. So I tried to ask for that money back, like in a nice way. And you know what I'm saying? And it got thrown in my face like I was being petty. Okay, I'll be petty. Let me be petty. If that's being petty, then you know what? Let me be petty. Because I just think it wasn't right. Not just the fact that I had an association with it through you, but I just think it wasn't right because granted, my mother got involved on the situation without asking me. I didn't even know until she gave me a folder of all the Easy Pass violations and when the Easy Pass got sent to collections and all of that. I didn't know about it. So the way I see the situation is, you know what I'm saying? I want reparations. You know what I'm saying? Because I made a promise to myself years ago when I was with my crazy ex that if I ever get with a man, and it doesn't even matter what he does, what caused him to get to whatever point he got to, if I ever get with a man and he does anything grimy, even if it's to me, if he's doing this griminess to me, he's going to do this to another female and get away with it. I will not allow that. For every woman that's out there, I don't care if you black, white, Spanish, whatever you are, I will not allow that because I've made a promise to myself that if I ever deal with another man that does something grimy to a woman, whether she deserved it or she didn't deserve it or whatever the case is, no, I will not allow that. Because if you let someone get away with it once, they're going to keep doing it. Or who knows how many times he has done this to other women. So yes, no, I will not allow it. I refuse because I don't think that's right. It's only fair. And if he doesn't agree with that, that's fine. He doesn't have to agree with that, just like his family don't have to agree with that. But it's not right, and I will not allow it. Just like a man, when he deals with a woman that tries to take all his money or tries to use him for what he has or whatever, if he wants to put his foot down and let other men know or protect other men from going through the same thing he went through, I think he has every right to do that as well. Because it's only fair. It's only fair. We're living in hard times right now for somebody to be trying to put you in a grimy ass situation, trying to take your money and trying to think you stupid. Like you got a dunce cap on your head. No, it's only fair. So I don't know how you guys feel about this. I don't know what your opinions are. I don't know if you want me to go more into detail about the mental psychological warfare I put on him of the test that he failed, or if you're okay with just this video, or if you want me to do videos explaining how you can do that with someone without actually doing the act that they think that you're doing, just to fuck with their head, just to have them not only fuck with their head, but make them think that they have to go out and do something to get back at you. So then essentially, yeah, you look like the bad guy, but really they're the bad guy because they went out and they believed, or they let their head fill them up with the idea that something was going on, but when in all reality nothing was really going on. It was all in their head because you fucked with their mind, you fucked with their psyche. But let me know if you want me to do more videos like that. Let me know if you want me to break it down, how you could do that. There are books out there if you want me to tell you what books to read on how to do that. Comment down below, reach out to my social media, reach out to Flash's social media. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want me to do more videos like this, or you want me to do different videos. And let me know your opinion of the whole situation. And do you think I went about it the right way? Do you think I went about it the wrong way? Do you think it's fucked up? Do you think it's funny? Just like I said, comment down below, reach out to my social media, reach out to Flash's social media, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.